Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be starting very shortly. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be starting very shortly. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Good to see some of faces after a long time. Is anybody can just confirm if you can hear me loud and clear? Even the chat
loud
box.
and clear, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you, Keith.
This is Basil. I can hear you very clearly.
Okay. How's that one now for a change? Is it the same or better?
It's better.
All right. Good to see you, my friend, Basil.
Thank you.
We're going to start very shortly. Does anybody like to share something quickly about what's happening in the market?
I can tell you something about. Okay, you go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead, sir. If you want to speak, go ahead. What's your name?
Rod
Okay.
Fraser.
Rod Fraser. Okay.
So right now we're doing a development.
Okay. Before you go any further, you are not a member, my friend, yet.
Okay.
All right. So you need to get a membership. Otherwise, you will be kicked out of the meeting very soon, though.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that.
I understand.
That's how it works.
Okay.
I
can get a membership. No problem.
Okay. If you can do it, because we sent a notice to you already. And before you share any project or something, you have to let us know. You can share your project next meeting, but you have to give us a notice what you're going to be sharing with us.
I see. Okay.
All right. We're going to be starting very shortly. Let you know that the market is shifting in more than one way. So we are very fortunate even today to have Lester Singh. Lester, are you there, my friend? A very experienced realtor and investor. I saw him logging in though. Today, we will not have our very good friend, Rory. In case you speak to him, it is his son's birthday. His son is turning 19. But we're gonna have our two other good friends, David Grossman as well as Gary. So it will be exciting though. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna get cracking earlier. And some of these people, I guess, because of Saturday or whatever the reasons are, people intend to log in a little later, but that's all good. We can only hope they can just come in time, but hey, life happens. Okay. Welcome, everyone. My name is Naftar Chandok. I am your friend and a host. We have been running this pre-Canada meeting since April 2005. We have never, ever missed a meeting. So just thought I should let you know that it's there. And it is there for you. We're going to be discussing several different things today. Something is happening in the market. Market is shifting quite a bit. There's a lot of uncertainty coming in from different aspects of it. Some good news is this: after about 27 years, we finally have a Minister of Housing in the federal level. There are new stuff coming in the market. Market is, as I said, shifting. Uncertainty about interest rate hikes, economy, the supply chain delays, how it is affecting us. And one of the key element, which I am afraid to talk about, is it's a bit of every boom we have the same situation. While during the boom, we all cry lack of supply. When the boom burst, oh, we got the extra rebuilt. And as I remember in 2006, when the US went down, I believe they have 34 million extra vacant homes. And then they want to introduce you the new product or service, yes, and that's how it works. And that what it is. That's how it works, and that is very important for you to understand that where are we in the market. So there is an introduction of some new laws coming in. Wealth Act is coming in. I'm going to be going to give you a bit of a very biased, personal, political opinion today for a good reason. Because that happened in the history in the past, and how they introduced the speculation tax, how they introduced the vacant property taxes, and how they introduced some new taxes in BC, so that all of a sudden there's a price range for the data company from $39 to $200, like 600% growth or so on. So that's how it works, unfortunately, though. There are a few things I want you to be aware of it while we are going to be going through this thing. I want you to pay a lot of attention to what we are be discussing. And all right. So let's get cracking on it. So those who are not members yet, you should become a member. Why you should join Real Pre-Canada. As I said, we have been running it. We don't run it from different point of view. Or running this meeting is only in one fold: to expand your social business horizons, gain some insight, information, knowledge, share some deals, and learn how to make some extra money at the same time. People don't do work with strangers. If you are not up to date with the market, you might be missing a big thing, and learning shall never stop, though. Our membership is not on a gouging basis compared to other companies. We charge $5,000, $10,000 a year. That's not how we do it. And we have done it in such a manner that we believe offering you the top best value at the time. And we are the practical people. We are not just reading a script. or something, we are in the trenches, we are doing the deals, and we are super active in the market as well. So that represents your network, equals your net worth. The more people you know, the more money you make. Who do you know? What do you know? Make a huge difference when it comes to real estate. And one of the reasons why you're here tonight, today, this afternoon, sorry, your contact means contracts. Very important, by the way. Who do you know? And eventually, sooner or later, whether you're in business of real estate, investing, you need to keep learning. And the more contacts you have, the more beneficial it becomes for you. Before we bring in David Grossman, I'm not too sure if he's on the line yet. David, are you there yet? I guess David is not here yet on the line. He will be on the line, I believe, pretty shortly, as well as other gentlemen in the meantime. So what is happening in the market? Well, we need to be very careful with it. We need to become aware of it. Some places the market is kind of not stalling. The sales are not as high. The price is still going pretty high. There is still issue with supply and demand. And there are some things happening in the US which may gonna affect us. One of the biggest fear everybody has, and everybody intend to more or less fear on it. Oh, I rather wait until market crashes or market slows down. Or also people are saying, also rushing into it, hey, we should get a pre-approval ASAP for the interest because interest rate gonna go higher. And there's a bit of myth in both of them. If the interest rate goes up, it will be so insignificant. They're gonna go by quarter and quarter percent, and you have plenty of room. Most of you may or may not be aware of it, that the fixed rate interest rates have already climbed up. And it's for some people, it may be a significant difference. For investors, I don't believe there's much into it, but there are other costs involved in it. One has to be very careful with, and we need to be focused on those issues as we go along though. Something is happening in the market, and where we are getting a headwind ahead of the time. People are not getting as much money as they used to be with the handouts because of COVID, and the foreclosures start rising up. We picked up a few properties ourselves. We closed one. These are all pre-foreclosures, and believe it or not, we got deals came from Nova Scotia, deals came from Alberta, from Red Hot BC. We have few in the works in Ontario, and Ontario is still a pretty strong market, and also a few of them in Saskatchewan and in Manitoba. This is all happening in the last, I would say, 6 to 8 weeks time. And there are a lot more deals coming in. These are people are reaching us saying, hey, listen, I'm facing foreclosure or power sale, and I need to get out. And there are other people who are getting out very quickly, are speculators. They're saying, oh, I bought the pre-construction, or I bought the condo, can't get a mortgage, or I need to get out because I can't keep up with the, I can't keep up with the negative cash flow. And this is happening as we speak though. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce you my second guest first, and we're going to bring David as David comes along. Jerry, are you here, my friend? Jerry, are you here? Jerry, are you here, my friend? I think he logged in. Sorry, that's him. Jerry, are you logged in?
I think he's here, but he's having trouble with his audio.
I'm just getting in here. Sorry, I'm just getting in here. Sorry. Just
all right, no problems. All right, ladies and gentlemen, one of my good friend and one of the most important person in our industry, where you can benefit tremendously. This is the one and only one Canadian who happened to be CPA and licensed in 5 different separated regulated investments. Just incredible gentleman. Just happened to met about a year ago or so. And I wish I had met him many, many years ago earlier. This gentleman is a man of wealth of knowledge, practicality, a different twist altogether. And there is something I want to recommend all of you before I let him in. Make sure you go to his website called CanadianInvestmentServices.ca. At least subscribe to his newsletter. His number is here. And he is himself is a full-time real estate investor. As a matter of fact, I believe he just recently closed on multi-unit. So Jerry, it's all yours, my friend, and let me know, what are we talking today? Are we talking about speculation, wealth taxes, or something else? It's all yours, Jerry.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Nav, as always. And I too wish I had have met you earlier too. You are an inspiration to many of us real estate investors, and certainly give us the direction that we need. And thank you everyone for joining us today. I think, Nav, I'm just going to touch a little bit on speculative tax, the vacant tax that seems to be in the headlines these days, and we can talk about anything else too, just the wealth tax that's coming in. So again, in general, what the government has been doing, as we all know, the price of real estate has just shot through the roof. And obviously, for real estate investors, that's not a bad thing. Certainly for people trying to get into the housing market, that's not a good thing. So the government has tried to address that and tried to put policies in place to try to curtail that surging demand for real estate. And, with all due respect, how do I say this kindly? Boy, there's so many better ways to deal with this problem of affordable housing than what the government is doing. Just my own opinion. But let's just review in general what they're doing, how it affects people. And again, I'm sorry for my audio. It's a little fuzzy here. I'm up at the cottage, so it's not quite as nice as it should be. But anyway, so in general, as we all know, one of the problems that's happened is all these non-residents have come in and bought properties in Canada, artificially, whether artificially or not. They've certainly elevated the prices of those houses. So one thing they tried to do is to create, there's a difference between speculative tax and vacant tax. So let's understand that there's a difference between speculation tax and vacancy tax. There's also a difference between resident and non-resident. Somebody's speakers are on there. Somebody's competing with me.
Okay, let's see who it is though.
Yeah, let's see if we can stop that. I think we're good now.
I think so. I think.
Okay, anyway, let's start with Basics 101, resident and non-resident. Those concepts, those are tax concepts. Okay, it's not citizenship or not or citizenship or non-citizenship. We tax in Canada based on residency. You don't necessarily need to be a Canadian citizen to be taxed as a resident. So we tax as residency, and things that the tax system looks at for residency, do you live here? Do you have a bank account here? Do you have a house here? Do you have financial activity in Canada? If so, they would deem you to be a Canadian resident for tax purposes, okay? Also from a residency point of view, a non-resident, if you are a non-resident, then you don't have to file Canadian tax returns. That's a nice thing. As a non-resident, you can actually live in Canada for 182 days of the year. You can be in Canada for half of the year and still be a non-resident for tax purposes. So what they're trying to do with this vacancy and speculation tax is deal with the non-residents, the people that don't reside in Canada, the people that do not pay taxes in Canada. Those people have really bought a lot of real estate in Canada, and certainly is one of the factors to the, that have contributed to the pricing. So again, there's a difference between speculative tax and vacancy tax. Now, in Ontario, they created a non-resident speculative tax of 15%. Okay, and that has been in effect since 2017. So that's already in place. That's been there. So if you're a non-resident buying a property in Canada, on closing, you are paying a speculative tax of 15% of the purchase price. It applies to both non-citizens and non-residents. Again, there's a difference between citizenship and residency. In other words, if you don't live in this country, if you're buying a place in Ontario, and it's actually not all of Ontario, it's really the Golden Horseshoe. It goes from basically Niagara Falls to London to Kitchener to Orillia to Peterborough and toward the city. In that area, if you're buying a house as a non-resident, you're paying a 15% speculative tax. It does not apply against multi-unit properties. It only applies for a unit that's 6 units and less. So if you're buying a detached home, you're going to pay that tax. If you're buying a fourplex, you're going to pay that tax. If you buy an apartment building, that tax does not apply. And that I find a little strange and odd, but anyway, that is the way it is. So again, that's a non-resident speculative tax in effect since 2017. BC also has a tax that started in 2016, and that's a 2% tax. Okay, so these are the provinces creating their own policies to deal with this speculation and vacant tax issue. The federal government has their own policy over and above the provinces. Okay, now the Liberals had always talked about a 1% vacancy tax. So if your houses were vacant, you would have to pay the tax, 1% based on the fair market value of the property. That was certainly a policy they proposed before the last election. They got reelected. So we see no reason why they wouldn't continue with that policy. Right now, it is set to implement on January 1, 2022. So in a few months, assuming it all gets passed through Parliament, which we assume it will, there will be a 1% tax on the value of houses owned by non-residents and non-Canadians that are vacant. Okay, again, that is a federal tax. The province have their own taxes that I've described. Now, just kind of tax 101. As non-residents, I'm actually surprised. We're all surprised from day one that non-residents are actually allowed to buy houses in here in Canada. Why wouldn't we protect our own? Even those immigrants that come into the country become Canadian citizens, we should be protecting those. Why are we even allowing anybody outside of Canada to own property in Canada? It's a little bit of a surprise, but that's always been the case. Non-residents are allowed to own property in Canada. If you are a non-resident owning property in Canada, you have to file a non-resident tax return, which means the Canadian tax system will only tax those non-residents on the rental income that they would receive from their properties in Canada. There is a requirement for withholding tax if you are a non-resident with owning property in Canada and renting it out. You have to send withholding tax to CRA. The big difference between a non-resident filing a Canadian tax return as a non-resident is that the Canadian tax system will not tax them on their worldwide income. If you are a Canadian resident for tax purposes, you have to file a Canadian tax return and report all of your worldwide income on a Canadian tax return and pay a Canadian tax on all of your worldwide income. Yes, you do get tax credits for other tax that you've paid in other countries, but so anyway, back to the real estate component. So we are looking for this tax policy to be implemented in 2 months, where everybody will pay a 1% tax on the vacant property that they own in Canada if you're a non-resident or non-citizen. Again, the speculative tax is already in place in Ontario. It's already in place in BC. And again, all this is to combat affordable housing, which again, I think there are so many better ways to combat affordable housing. The one that I've been really advocating for many, many years to anybody who listens, and nobody does, by the way, no decision makers do, but why not allow the use of RSP fundings for first-time home buyers? So for example, a first-time home buyer wants to buy a house, and as we all know now, it's just insurmountable to most people. But let's say they qualify for a mortgage, and let's say the house is $600,000, and they're entitled, they qualify for a 75 or 80% mortgage. So they get a $480,000 mortgage. So they're short 100 or 150,000 for the purchase of their first home. And let's say they don't have the money. Well, that knocks them right out of the marketplace. What happens if they allowed a third party, somebody else's RSP, to fund that difference? Okay, so the first-time home buyers trying to buy a house for 600 grand, they qualify, they have a nice mortgage, but they need the down payment. So why can't that down payment come from somebody else's RSP, registered as a mortgage, second place behind the bank's first? And why can't that RSP mortgage be guaranteed by the young person's parents? There is the solution to so much affordable housing. And I really don't know why they don't do something along those lines. All they're doing now is taxing, which really doesn't help the solution. So anyway, that's my little pet peeve for the day. I think there's better solutions to deal with affordable housing and speculation and vacancies. But I've kind of brought you up to date on where it is at this point. And I've given you some ideas what I think should happen. But anyway, we see where it goes. And interestingly enough, just on a closing note, all these speculative taxes do not apply to people with refugee status. So if they come into this country under refugee, some of them still have a lot of money. They could win and buy these houses and not be subject to all these vacancy and speculation taxes that I've described. So that's a little interesting tidbit, I think. But other than that, Nav, that's my chat today about speculative tax, vacancy tax, and my solution to the affordable housing problem.
Okay. Thank you so much, Gary. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
As we speak, we are in the process of acquiring a property in Nova Scotia, which is owned by an American guy.
Yeah.
And he is losing it under a foreclosure. What do we need to be careful with when we're buying this piece of property?
Okay, so hold on. So this person is buying a property out in Nova Scotia.
No, we are buying it.
Okay, got it. Okay, so you're
And
buying
the current
it.
owner is an American. He's not Canadian, but he owned the property in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, so the any potential problems on that sale really would be for the seller. You're a Canadian resident. You are able to buy these properties without all these speculative vacancy taxes applying. What would happen with that non-resident is the lawyer. Okay, so when you buy the property, obviously your money goes to the lawyer who's closing the deal. That lawyer is supposed to withhold a non-residency withholding, send it to CRA before the seller gets their money. So that's really the only implication on this scenario. The fact that you're buying from a non-resident really doesn't overcomplicate things, certainly not any more than that it's a power of sale, I think you're saying, or a foreclosure.
Yes.
Certainly you got to deal with all the issues relating to a power of sale or foreclosure, whether they're resident or non-resident. The only thing that really applies in my mind of what your scenario that you're describing is that the lawyer would have to send a withholding tax to CRA on behalf of the seller, which really has no impact to you.
Another second question on the same topic. The chances are this gentleman might be losing money, what he paid for it, because it's all been under foreclosure. Does it have, I assume, with all due respect, maybe you can correct me, that every sale has to be reported to CRA?
Yeah, so he's a so this person is a non-resident. So
Yes.
as a non-resident, owning property in Canada, they have to report the income side of the equation. If they owned that property and never had any rental income or anything, they don't have to file a tax return. If they have income from that property, they have to file a tax return. If they sell the property at a loss, that non-resident now has what we call a capital loss. And that capital loss can be carried forward forever till the day they die, at which point it converts from a capital loss to a non-capital loss. But any non-resident that has incurred an actual loss in Canada can file, they're required to file the tax returns. Every time a non-resident sells a property in Canada, they have to file a tax return. They have to calculate the gain or the loss. If it's a gain, they have to pay tax. If it's a loss, they get to carry that loss forward. If that non-resident does any other investing activity in Canada, they are allowed to utilize that capital loss. And in all probability, that capital loss probably has some tax benefit in their tax country of origin where they are filing their tax returns. So once again, certainly from the buyer perspective, most of the obligations, requirements, and filing issues fall on the person that's selling the property, not so much you. There's really nothing special that you would have to do to buy a property from a non-resident compared to a resident.
All right. Thank you so much, Jerry. If you got a question, please feel free to call Jerry directly, 416-979-7426, as you can see the screen. And Jerry is going to be here on December 11th again. And he will be hanging around until the meeting's over, and he usually hang around in our break rooms. So you're able to ask him a question directly. Again, you can text him at this number, or you can call him up Monday. He'll be more than happy to look after you. Thank you, Jerry, once again, my friend.
Thank you, Nev. Appreciate everything you do. Thank you.
I also want to welcome our very good friend, Terry Waldman. Are you there, sir?
I am here. Hi, Navtaj.
How are you doing, my friend? Good to see you.
I'm good. I just came from a family's 3-year-old birthday party, and now I'm sitting and enjoying this session.
Excellent. I'm so happy that you have made it here after, God knows, 2-3 years now. You haven't been to our meeting forever.
Well, we've had COVID.
Oh, okay. All right. A quick question for you, Terry. You being an attorney, a lawyer, we're buying a piece of property from an American person under a foreclosure in Nova Scotia. What do we need to be careful with?
Buy low, sell high.
Well, okay. We're buying it dirt cheap. The property may be worth no more than 200,000. I think we're buying for 50 or 60,000 bucks. 5-unit building.
Well, I agree with what Jerry had said, that from the Canadian buyer, there is no issue. There's no issue with the CRA. The lawyer acting on the purchase is going to do the usual searches to make sure that the transfer of title comes to the buyer free and clear of any blemishes, issues, and it's really just a wonderful opportunity to buy low.
All right.
So there's no issues. No issues.
All right, great. Thank you so much for your. I'm so happy you made it here. Now I want to welcome my good friend, a brother from another mother, David Grossman. Are you there, sir?
Yes. Hi, Navtaj. How you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. Are you driving again?
Yeah. So, well, my wife's actually doing the driving.
Oh, okay. Well, very nice. Very kind. Okay. So family together.
Yeah, we're in Toronto for some appointments today. So.
Excellent. All right. So now I want you to talk about a couple of things. Bank of Canada is it really making effect on variable rates? They have jacked up a little bit of current rates on fixed mortgages. So I got both of your latest charts you requested me. They are here now. It's all yours, my friend.
Okay. So yeah. So there was a chart that just shows the bond yields.
Yes.
You can bring that on if you. I can't see, but
it is right on the screen.
Okay. Okay. Very good. I just want to say that I really appreciated Terry's advice to buy low and sell high. I think that's something we can all take to the bank. That's a good one. Anyway, so nice to see you all today. You, Navtash, and Jerry, and I see Vladimir there. And yeah, so with respect to rates, variable rates have not moved yet, but there's a lot of talk about it. A lot of talk about when it's going to happen, and there's a consensus that it's going to happen next year. And there's some disagreement as to how much rates are going to go up. Some economists are saying maybe it'll go up a point. Some are saying maybe it'll go up it could go up as much as 2 points. And they usually talk about it in terms of the number of times that it's going to go up, because usually, not always, but usually when it goes up a quarter of a point at a time. The Bank of Canada meets, I think, 8 times a year, I believe. And they'll raise their rates in order to combat inflation. And, we all know there's been inflation happening. So that's something they're going to need to do in order to cool down the economy and combat inflation. Fixed rates have been going up already. And if the chart is on the screen, you'll see that was a little spike very recently in fixed rates. And that's not something that's directly in the control of the Bank of Canada. That has to do largely with investor sentiment and concerns over inflation. So when they're worried about inflation, what happens is investors are going to sell off their bonds. A bond is a fixed, has a fixed yield or has a fixed return to it. So let's say you have a bond and it's worth $100, or the face value of that bond is $100, and it offers a 5% return. So you know you're going to get 5% on that. Now, if inflation starts kicking in, investors are worried that that's going to erode the return that they're getting. So they start selling off their bonds. And when they sell off their bonds, the bonds flood the market and the price of the bond goes down. So now you can buy a bond that has a face amount, let's say of $100. You can buy it for, let's say, $98. And the yield goes up because you're buying it for $98. You're still getting that $5 a year return on it. So the yield goes up on the bond, and fixed mortgage rates go up in tandem with bond yields. Is it too late? Have people missed the boat? I would say definitely not. Are there opportunities out there? Sure, there always are. And I think Navtash, I know a lot of the people in your group are looking for opportunities to buy low, opportunities to add value to properties. So really, I think at the end of the day, whether you're paying 1.5% or 2.5%, or sometimes even more. I do private deals with Terry Waldman sometimes, and other private lenders, and private rates on mortgages, for example, are higher. But the question is, well, how much value can you add to the property? And if you're flipping, then you want to get out quickly. So it really doesn't matter whether you're paying 2 or 3%. You want a lender who's going to be able to move quickly, who's going to understand what you're doing, who's going to let you out of the mortgage too without a massive penalty. So sometimes it helps to have an open mortgage, regardless of what the rate is. So that's the story with rates. We have, variable rates as low as still available at 0.99% for a 3-year variable. The prime rate is currently at 2.45. So that's actually prime minus 1.46 we have available. That's for an insured mortgage where you have less than 20% down. So whatever the situation, we have money for that. Now, I just want to leave people with 2 quick tips. Okay, Navtash? The first thing that people should know is that there is a code of conduct. And this past week, the Mortgage Brokers Regulators Council of Canada, an organization which, to be frank, I never heard of, FSRA, Financial Services Regulator, it's a new body that took over from Fisco. adopted their code of conduct. There's a lot of regulations in the industry. If you ever have problems with a mortgage broker, talk to the regulator. You can and tell the mortgage broker he needs to resolve your problem, or you're going to go to the regulator. A couple of times over the years, I've heard horror stories about people with some experiences they've had with mortgage brokers, and they're afraid, they don't know what to do. It's not worth going to court. Well, you don't have to go to court. You can talk to the regulator. It's free to file a complaint. And the mortgage broker will have to answer to the regulator if they want to keep their license in good standing. So that's one tip. The other tip is that there's a magic number in mortgage lending, and that's when you have 35% down, you're going to get a lot of flexibility from lenders, including institutional lenders. You may be buying a rental property. You may not have the ability to show that you can debt service on that property. But if you have an exit strategy and you have a business plan that makes sense, you can get institutional money often, even as long as you have a sufficient down payment. So those are my tips for today, and I hope I've answered your question. Are there any other questions that you have, Navtaj, or anybody else?
No, we are good. I'm gonna ask everybody, anybody who can see the screen. We have posted all these 5-year fixed rates as of October 1st, as of November 11th. What the differences are, if you want to have a quick look at it. The reason we want to bring it to your attention so that you are aware what's happening in the market with the next 40 days, how the rates have gone from 2.19% average to 2.94 or 2.48, 2.64, depending upon which institution you're dealing with. But the average rate increase is 51 BPS, they call it. It is something, in case you have fixed mortgage, you need to speak to David Grossman before you turn your variable to fix, or you want to keep it a variable. You want to sit down with him or have a conversation with him. Everybody have different circumstances, so please do not follow. Talk to him. He will not charge you any money for it. He'll explain to you. He could be one of those people who can help you how you should structure your mortgage financing, whether it's a principal residence, whether it's a commercial deal or multi-units or your fix and flip, whatever it is. Explain to him everything. Everything is confidential, and he can give you the very best advice. I know him for a very long time. That's why we bring him every month, and he has been very kind. No matter what it is, he is here every Saturday. So hopefully by next year, we are planning to shift the Saturday meeting to weekday evenings. And a lot of you are asking, hey, Saturdays is family day and so on. So we are debating on it. Possibly there might be a change in January. I want to say thank you, David. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, my brother from another mother, and
right,
nice to see you all today. Happy to assist anyone. As you say, no charge for a consult.
Excellent. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
This is something I like to quickly share with you about how does 50 basis point increase translate into home buyers thing. If anybody who has a $450,000 mortgage, at one time the rate was 2.19, now the rate is 2.69. It's the extra $112 a month, and which more or less turned into about $10,000 over the period of 5 years. So be aware of it, because for some of you, $110 a month could be positive cash flow, or it can become a negative cash flow or break even. So that's why we bring our industry's best speakers to share with you what is exactly happening in the market of real estate. So moving forward, this is David, by the way, one more time. We have spoken to this thing, and we will not have Rory today because Rory is celebrating his son's birthday. In case next time you see him, let him know and wish him well. His son's name is Stephen. He's turning 19 now. Moving forward, legal disclaimer, let's get the going. It's illegal to operate as a broker of real estate, mortgages, or securities unless otherwise you are properly licensed. It may be illegal to charge a finder fee or to charge a commission or referral fee unless you hold the appropriate license. What is legal? it is perfectly legal to buy a property and sell a property. It's also legal to assign a contract. It means you can flip a contract you have obtained to purchase a real property. You may also charge a price for assigning your rights under an option to buy real estate. So caveat, do your own due diligence. Please seek the advice of a real estate lawyer, not a real estate, not your neighbor or somebody you know, always a real estate lawyer who has tremendous amount of experience though. We're gonna skip that, not in hospital, not in jail, not in grave. Please say thank you, Lord, for giving us another day. We have gone through a very rough time for the last 2 years or a year and a half or so on. It's showing a little bit of gratitude always help. Just it's a reminder from itself every day. Continuous learning is the minimum requirement for success in life. That's Dennis Waitley. We're gonna moving forward. Where would you invest $100,000 and what would you recommend other people? If you like to put it in the chat box, please. If you have extra $100,000 in TFSA, RSP money, a line of credit, where would you like to invest? Would you like to invest in high risk second mortgages? Would you like to invest on a low risk at 5%? Whatever you want to invest with, we're going to be having a little chit chat about it. And if you want to invest in real estate, why you should be investing it, what kind of property you're looking at it. We may have opportunities for other people to invest. And that could be in single family homes, multi-units, short-term, long-term basis, where we have acquired this property at a huge discount. Something I always remind you, what is your ikigai? What does that mean in simple language? What do you love? What do you enjoy? What do you enjoy? What you love, what you're good at it, what the word needs it, and what you can get paid for it. That is, you need to know what is your ikigai. Okay, moving forward, what is happening in the market? A lot of people ask me a question, hey, where are you getting information from? Yes, we get information from Stat Canada or all the reliable sources. Canada is booming again. Unemployment is getting better. We are creating a lot more jobs than ever before. Remember that we had higher unemployment rate when March 2020, when everything hits hard. Now we are on the recovery process. There is some problems with the supply chain. There are some other issues. We are still dealing with it. And something which is really kind of funny that during this time, everybody went on renovating it and there was a shortage of lumber, but actually it was not. Shortage of steel is not. And there are some shortage of other supplies. Some are reasonable. Some people are simply gouging on it though. All right. So moving forward, Stat Canada say unemployment have been 8% in October, down from 8.9%. We have added about 31,000 brand new jobs, and that's the best part of it. Here is something else. Some of you may be aware of it, that there is a piece of property in Milton. 6 years ago, they paid $15.8 million for a 100-acre lot, 100 acres, yeah. And now they have sold this whole property for $165 million. The zoning is still agriculture, 10 times the money. Call it speculation, call it everything. If you look at this property carefully, it seems like it's beside 401, but it's all surrounded with agricultural land though. Having said that, we might have opportunity for somebody who's a land developer or a builder who's interested in buying some properties in Milton. Please let us know or speak to us in the meeting room. We're gonna have a break room. We have at least 5 or 6 or maybe 8 or maybe all 9 or 10 people who are here who are the directors of acquisition or real estate or they are directors of disposal or dispositioning, they will be happy to speak to you if you happen to be a developer, a builder, if you know somebody who's interested in buying a large piece of land right beside 401. This is something else we're going to be, we will be, the reason I want to bring it in, the 2 new highways is going to make a huge difference, by the way. Do we need Highway 413? People are saying we don't. What does that mean? Infrastructure changes. Infrastructure changes mean what? In that area where right now they're proposing highway, the land value is going to multiply by 10 times, 3 times, 5 times. And eventually when this thing's built, they're going to start developing these properties. Right now, they might be, as we speak, agriculture. The moment highway goes in, you have seen it what happened when the Shepherd subway comes in. You have seen it when 407 gets in and how area got built up very quickly. So this is heads up information for you. Highway 413 and Bradford bypass are the 2 proposals. So far, the provincial government have determined to build these 2 highways. If you got opportunity in the area up to 700 meters in the radius, up to even 1 kilometer area, you're able to pick up a piece of property and you can hold on to it, you will make a good fortune. Infrastructure changes does a lot of magic. It always does. It is a short-term hold, but it's a humongous gain, by the way. This is another piece of property I just thought I should share with you. This piece of property was located in Kelowna, went only for $510,000 when the property value is $2.5 million. Somebody just picked up the property for 20 cents on a dollar. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the tax lien properties. I'm going to give a little bit of information to you today, how the tax lien properties are coming up for sale, how do you benefit from it, and there are different provinces, and how one can make a good fortune. Those who have attended the apprenticeship program understand the system very well. Those who are not familiar with it, this have nothing to do with speculation. This is buying very, very, very low, and selling it for the current market value. This is again in Kelowna. This piece of property worth $820,000, sold for $360,000 on September 27th. These are the hardcore facts in case you want to know, hey, how does it work? If you want to learn more about it, attend the apprenticeship program. This is recently our student did a few deals. I just thought I should share with you. So those who are here, can anybody say yay? Any of those people involved in this deal in Sault Ste. Marie?
Yay. Yay.
Okay,
Yay.
yay, only 1, 2, okay. So this piece of property was acquired for August 30th for $75,000. Believe it or not, yes, there are properties for $75,000 in Sault Ste. Marie. I know it's a little bit far. And this is also available. They resold it for $130,000 on October 12th. The deal has been closed, and the gross profit is about $55,000. Again, those who are not familiar with the Northern Ontario, it's a different ball game altogether. Really, really different ball game altogether. And Northern Ontario people have different choices, different way of looking at things. And it's not as luxury as Toronto. People are on a different program altogether. Is Northern Ontario. Next deal our student did is a pre-foreclosure. Somebody was going to lose the house to the bank. They called us in. We acquired the property. We put it under contract on for $257,000, and we have they have assigned this deal to somebody else who's another apprentice at a huge discount. Based upon the current market value, it was appraised from 358, 378, and they assigned this deal to somebody else for 307, and they had made a so-called assignment profit or a flip profit or assignment about $50,000. It's a gross profit, by the way, minus all the legal fees. Again, they didn't close the deal. It was assignment. And people ask a question, can you really assign the properties in Alberta? Answer is, hey, proof is the pudding. Here's the address of the property. Here are the dates. And I believe the person who bought it, she might be also on the line. Minette, are you there? Minette.
Yes.
Okay, would you like to share something about this property?
Yeah, sure. So
We can barely hear you though. Are you on a cell phone?
yeah, I'm on my phone right
If you can speak
I
a
don't
little
have-
louder or you can scream, that'd be good.
Yeah, I'm at work right now, but yeah, I'm on the
Okay, what are you planning to do with this property now? Are you planning to sell it for 378 or are you gonna list it for 378 or you're gonna list it for 358?
I have a realtor planning to list it for 369, and then
Okay.
we'll go from there.
So in between 358 and 378, you were thinking listed for 368 or 369. What do you think it'll sell
369.
for?
365, 362 is what we're
Okay.
thinking. My realtor and I.
So it'll be about 15,000 real estate fees. And I assume you're gonna make somewhere close to 43,000 minus all the carrying costs and so on, correct?
Yeah.
Is this your first flip? First deal?
Yeah.
All right, well, congratulations, my friend. And I believe
Thank
that you
you.
live about 20 minutes away from the property?
Yeah.
All right. All right, well, thank you once again, Minette. So ladies and gentlemen, this is a pre-foreclosure property in Alberta where our investors are done all virtually. Nobody went to see the properties ourselves, all the buyers, but the person who bought it, she went to see the property herself. And everything was done virtually though. Again, opportunities are there. It's just a matter of having a proper teamwork, proper education, proper coaching that helps you to get the deal done in Alberta. The next one is done also in this is in Saskatchewan. Again, another virtual deal, virtual wholesaling deal. Again, welcome to Saskatchewan. Things can be very reasonable. Our students acquire this property for $19,330 on October 20th. Close the deal, resold it, or put it back in the market. It got sold for $35,650. Again, it's still a profit. It's done all virtually. Those who think that, hey, you cannot buy or sell property without looking at it, talk to the people during the break room, how they did it themselves. Is this for deal for real? Does it really happen? Did they really close? And if you ask them, hey, where is this town called Howerton? They wouldn't know where the town is. And again, not every property you need to see it to buy it though. Just thought it's also in a situation, I'm not sure if it was pre-foreclosure or there was something to it, not too sure. Maybe if I have put pre-foreclosure, that might be by mistake, but it's still a virtual wholesale, virtual flip as a matter of fact. Moving forward, this property in Kelowna, I mentioned to you, sold it for $220, property worth $750, again on September 27th. There is a bit of a caveat, and there are tricks to be made the money on this thing. Even this deal is sold, guess what? We can still make money on the deal, even though we have nothing to do with the deal, but based on our knowledge and expertise, we can make money in these deals altogether. So in Edmonton, I hope somebody is listening. There are about a lot of properties are supposed to go in the market for sale, but 90 properties wanted to go under a tax lien where people did not pay what? Property taxes. The city said, this is too many. Why don't we extend it? So the councils get together. Now we got a new mayor in Edmonton, new mayor in Calgary, and both happen to be an East Indian background, but that doesn't make any difference. But now there I have 89 properties which are going to go in the sale under tax lien in Edmonton. What does that mean? There are 89 opportunities for you if you know what to do with it. If you know how to get the financing, how to do your proper due diligence. If you do not know how to do proper due diligence, you might be buying something a lemon, or you can get yourself in a rabbit hole where you will not be able to get out, where you could be losing all other assets you have. So be aware of it. Real estate, you do not play unless you know the game thoroughly, though. This is Montreal. Montreal is coming up on November 22nd. Quebec is a different ball game when it comes to tax liens. Totally different ball game. And there's only one precaution. There will be a whole 100 properties for sale. By the way, Montreal is next door. Apart from Vancouver and Toronto, Montreal is the next hottest market in Canada. Again, Quebec and people in Montreal are slightly different than people in Ontario or BC. They have different lifestyle. This property is going to come in and they have different set of laws when it comes to tax liens. Here, the current owner, if they lose the property under tax lien, they have the right to redeem the property up to 1 year. They have to pay all the money plus 10%, but the redemption period is 1 year. So those who are interested in attending it, hey, go in person, 9 a.m. The tax sale begins 10 a.m. right on the dot in the city of Montreal. Anybody interested in doing it, let us know. Those who have taken proper education should definitely attend it. Those who have not, please do not play with the fire. It may not be the most advisable thing to do. This is another thing happening in US, disruption of real estate market. What happened? There are 3-4 large corporations came along, iBuyer, Zillow, and Open Door. What are they doing? They are wholesalers. They are buying property at a discount and reselling them after fixing it, but they are doing at a large volume. They were able to raise a couple $2 billion and they were doing it. And why people were selling the houses to them? Because people say, I don't like the headache of going to real estate agent, repairs and all the stuff. I just want somebody to give me one price and it's done. At one time, all the resale market in US was controlled by 3 companies, which is 10% of the inventory. Now, if they have done the work right, they would have made a lot of money. Since we in Canada buy similar way, but our discount price is much, much, much higher. We do not buy property at 10% discount or 5% discount or 8% discount. We like to have a very significant amount of discount as is value. And that's very important that you have as is value though. So this disruption has been interrupted again because one of the company is going to go through some difficult time and they are trying to, they're losing a lot of money, maybe about $500 million. But the reason I want to share with you is be careful if you are counting only upon appreciation only, market never keep going up all the time. It can stall, it can come down, and you have to be careful as well what you do. So, there is some other opportunities came to us, and if you happen to know somebody who have expertise on intellectual property relating to research, development, and medical or pharmaceutical systems, we have 2 properties which we are interested in acquiring it. If you happen to know expert or you know of someone, please give us a call or text us a message. We'll be happy to make sure that you are taken care. This is strictly on not a real estate, but some intellectual property though. Reason number 1, Zillow is going under because there's only one reason. They made one mistake. One mistake, couple $1 billion losses. What was the mistake? They did not know how to value property. They did not do their due diligence. They paid more money than the market is worth. Bottom line, inability to accurately evaluate any property gonna backfire. It doesn't matter if you are a single investor or a corporate investor, you are gonna feel it. And that's what happened with Zillow. That has been the headlines all across the globe, that Zillow made a boo-boo, Zillow made a huge mistake. But again, don't forget that these are corporate and this is a different type of funds. It may not hurt individuals to some degree, but I believe there are still about 6 to 10,000 properties. They need to get rid of them. At one time, they were thinking to buy 10,000 properties a month, but again, different ball game. So what are we gonna do? Learn the lesson. Are we gonna become another iBuyer? Yes, we can play individually, we can play in a small group, but if you are not buying it based upon the greed only or appreciation, that can backfire on you. So how much money did they lose? 80,000 per home. Yike. Is that a lot? Yes, it is a lot. But they were making some crazy offer because they're saying the markets keep going up and up and up. I'm sorry, what goes up must come down. So it's insane, whatever it is. Now they have a lot of explanation to do through the shareholders. Again, be aware of it, that every time you're buying a discounted property, you don't have to get every property. If you don't feel comfortable, hey, draw a line and never cross never ever cross the line though. Yes, we do buy houses, by the way. We buy multi-units as well. We buy land, we buy land developments. Yes, we buy houses all across Canada in all 10 different provinces. Some of these, I call them angel investors and directors. You'll be able to have opportunity to speak to them today during the break time, and they can tell you where they have bought properties without leaving Ontario. If they have gone to other provinces, sometimes you may gonna find it's okay that your playground is all across Canada. It's not only Toronto or GTA. Moving forward, here is my question for you. Given a choice to you, you have a budget of 800,000. Would you like to buy a studio or a house? What would you buy? Please put in the chat box. So this piece of property is 197 Yonge Street, 387 square foot. Asking price is 768. Would you buy this piece of property or would you rather buy a house? Given a choice to you, which one would you prefer? Somebody said, house, of course, house, okay, house, okay. House, okay. House is good, okay. Well, here's the deal. And which one has a better cash flow? That's a good question. Studio, okay. Well, again, everybody has their own opinion and their opinion is correct based upon their circumstances. Some people prefer not to. And here is the location of the house, by the way. Here is the house in Toronto. It's listed for 629,000, by the way, just for the sake of argument. It's on MLS on 15 Havelock Boulevard, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom bungalow. That's the cheapest house and it's a fixer-upper. And the good thing is the location seems to be a good location, close to the New Eglinton LRT. So 197 Yonge Street is also a good location, but that's a studio. So given a choice to you, you tell us, hey, which one do you prefer? And why do you prefer a house compared to a condo? Why you are not like to, studio is good, low maintenance, house have their own different ways of doing things. The idea is the market is not going crazy as used to be. Some houses are taking a lot longer as comparatively. And as I mentioned to you, when you sell a house between July and October, there's a big difference. October intend to bring a lot more money. The next 3 months, November, December, January, are gonna be different timing. And the best day to buy any property is always Monday. A question also has parking, not sure about the studio. Studio doesn't come with the parking. So here is something I like to give you a bit of a rundown across Canada, like what is happening in the real estate market in all larger cities. With all due respect, most of you think that we are in Toronto. Yes, we live in Toronto, most of us, but we have members all across Canada, and we do buy properties everywhere. Here is the deal in Toronto. Okay, the property is number of houses get sold are a little bit less. The prices are slightly higher. Detached house prices are quite a bit. The price growth, 28% for detached houses, 24 for semi, 28 for townhouses, and 13 for condos. Now, if you notice that detached houses and townhouses have became the hottest thing to do. So be aware of it. Hey, these things are available. This is in Toronto. Now let's look at Vancouver market. Why? Because we are doing a few more pre-foreclosures in Vancouver. We just did, I think about 6 months ago, we did another townhouse there. I got another townhouse on the table where somebody is in trouble, is a pre-foreclosure, and they just don't want to go through this process though. The market in Vancouver is pretty steady, pretty strong in their own way. Again, in my opinion, everybody has made money. If you look at the price difference between 2019 and as we speak now, there's a fairly healthy appreciation. Anybody here from Vancouver in this meeting today? All right, let's move to the next market, Halifax. Why people leaving Ontario and moving to what? Anywhere. Now, why people are moving to Halifax? Lifestyle, small towns. Again, Halifax is not huge. And because what's happening in Halifax? The condo sales are up by 36%, and the houses are up, prices are up by 30%. It's called immigration. The people are moving within that country from one place to second province. People are thinking Ontario is becoming unaffordable. Forget about GTA, forget about Vancouver. Let's move to a smaller community. And it's putting a lot of pressure on the smaller community or other smaller provinces. When they get there, if they have a job, excellent. If they don't, then they find it, okay, you know what? Bigger town offer more opportunities. Again, same problem, and I'm going to share with you what is the problem, what is the solution, and I'm going to give you my personal experience or personal opinion. And again, we will see how the Minister of Housing from the federal is going to react, how the province is reacting it, how the city have passed brand new laws giving a developer, hey, listen, you got to build affordable housing, you got to build rentals. And this is going to be happening in 2022. So you are a little bit ahead of the time that at least you know what is happening. Next thing is in Calgary. Boy, fifth record straight month, Calgary is coming out of the shell. We have a special deal in Calgary. Some of you who know us well, we have one builder approached us with about 30 or 40 units, and we made a deal with them. And we have one special deal. If anybody wants it, we can share with you momentarily, and you can get in touch with us and we'll tell you how this deal can be assigned to you. It's a brand new condo, 2-year, no mortgage payments, rental guarantee, one of the top-notch builder in Canada. Alberta, here is something you know ahead of the time. Alberta, there may be another real estate boom. Why? You can buy the house for 1/5 of the price of Toronto or Vancouver, a nice detached house in Alberta. We know what the house we just assigned in Calgary, what we paid for 257, is 1,400 square feet. If you want to buy the same house in Toronto, you're looking at 4 times the money or 4 or 5 times the money in Vancouver. So what is happening? 2014, the real estate market went kaput in Saskatchewan as well as in Alberta. And people who paid $500,000 are unable to sell their property for $300,000, and there's no buyers. Now, what is happening now? Canada's biggest oil and gas producing province is getting a little bit what? They're changing part of the economics. They're bringing, apart from oil and gas sector, apart from Alberta beef, which is Canada, Alberta is known for, they are bringing a lot of technology firms there. And now the markets start booming and people are moving to Alberta. Reason very simple, because it's cheaper. And this rebound is creating a extra boom. And where we see the Calgary home won't sell, now they are snapped up pretty quickly though. So again, be aware of it. The value is very, very low comparative to the rest of Canada. Alberta might be something if you are looking for a long-term basis. In my opinion, it's a good time to get into the Alberta market, whether it's your multi-units, single family, condos. And the laws are slightly different, but I believe that's my opinion only. Do your research before you invest. We're looking for some joint venture partners. We have in the process of acquiring some multi-units in Alberta as well as Manitoba. When we buy these properties, we buying them dirt cheap, somewhere from 30 to 60, 80, 90% below market value. But some of these properties have their own challenges where we have to go in, fix them up, and rent them out. Again, every property we pick them up, we pick them dirt cheap. We just picked up another property in Thunder Bay, 9-unit building, appraised $800,000. We pay $280,000. So it more or less, we say we pay 1/3 of the price. We might have paid 33 cents on a dollar. And again, our buying criteria is pretty strict. We rarely buy any property at fair market value, or we never buy it from MLS. We are happy to sell these properties. Anybody interested in these properties? Okay, somebody asked me a question, what is ROI? It depends exactly what property we're talking about. So we cannot make a blank statement depending on each property. You're welcome to speak to us, or during the break time, you'll be able to speak to one of those real estate acquisition directors here, and they will be happy to walk you through, and they can speak to you one-on-one as if you like. We have a land for sale in Milton, only for land developers. It's something a developer's dream. We're looking for a really fast closing, by the way. This is something else which somebody comes in, maybe hang in for 2-3 years or 5 years before they can make money. We strongly believe that we are in the process of acquiring this. We are in negotiation, and this could be a great opportunity for a builder to come with us as a joint venture partner. We would like to go in the deal as a joint venture partner, or we will keep a fraction ownership. It'll be a great gift from us to you if you happen to be a fairly large builder or developer, but we like to stay in the deal with you. So we can put in our 2 cents of our 200 years, 100 years of experience, combined experience of all the people we have in the team. Facing an eviction by a bank or help is available. This is something people don't realize, that whether you're going through a power sale, a foreclosure, you have certain rights. And there's one thing I want to share with you. The lenders wants out, and lender doesn't really care. As long as the lender get paid with all his penalties, lender is happy to walk away, as long as we can create a win-win situation. And the name of the game is always cash. And losing the property through foreclosure, the lender have to go through power sale or foreclosure, go through all the costs of legality, legal fees, broker fees, and carrying it and getting insurance is a lot of headache. It's not worth it, but we can help all three parties where we can create everybody as a winner. So that's what we do. We do very well. Are the foreclosures coming? Oh, yes. Why? Why are they coming? What is happening? What is the real reason for the foreclosures? Here is my 2 cents. Over 2 million homeowners in Ontario are susceptible to financial disruption. Interest rate increase, change of job, and again, 18% of those people who bought the property, they regret it. They say, we should not have bought the house. What does that mean? Well, market is hot. It's easier to resell, but it costs to buy, it costs to resell. And don't forget that we have land transfer taxes in the city of Toronto. We have land transfer taxes in the province of Ontario, and it costs money to put a mortgage, discharge a mortgage. It costs a good chunk of money. In my opinion, when you buy it could be 5%. When you sell it could be 10%. And some of these people may not be able to handle it. Now we are only talking Ontario, which in my opinion has been booming tremendously compared to other provinces like Saskatchewan or Alberta, where there is an uphill struggle in the economy and the jobs and so on. So be aware of it, that after every single boom, there is always a bit of a burst. And if you're ready, if you have proper education, you have your team, you have financial backup, you have somebody guiding you through, you will make a lot more money when the market goes down. Boom, everybody makes money by default. You didn't do anything. It's by default. It's appreciation, inflation, whatever you call lack of supply. But this will be a huge opportunity. You have done foreclosure training in BC, Alberta, Ontario, and other provinces. When we do teach you, or you part of that deal, you get to learn the real stuff. It's a lot more different than what you heard about it. And you can talk to the people who are going to be speaking to you during the break time. What is the real difference though? Terry, I need to speak to you, my friend, and we will speak definitely. I think we can help each other a lot. All right, next thing we're gonna talk about eviction by the bank. This is a little critical point, and I'm gonna give you my thing. 1.3 million Canadian vacant homes. What does that mean? What does that mean? Every 12th home is vacant. And this is a 6 years of supply. How many years supply? 6 years. If you don't build anything, we have enough houses. If all houses are occupied, who is actually the owner of these vacant properties? Are the realtors, investors, or speculators? Are they foreigners? That's a huge. And Canada become the 5th most vacant homes in the whole globe. That's a huge number. It's also alarming. It can backfire on us. If all these houses come back in the market for sale, guess what? Price is going to drop like crazy, because these speculators are they're investing money, because we have a huge, unbelievable amount of appreciation. The prices are going crazy. So here is my intake. Hold on. So what happened? Now we have two different techniques to it. We are saying, oh, we don't have enough supply. Oh, let's build more. And on the other hand, there is something I like to share with you. And if you can perhaps read it, this slide, it'll make a lot more sense for you than the way I'm gonna say it. If you want, please take a picture. So what is it? The supply because of the huge amount of demand, what is pushing up the price of building homes? And they are saying they don't realize the printing money is much faster because they're handing out so much money out to build houses. It takes a little longer time. Now we got a situation here where I believe that in a lot of so-called investors are not investors, they are more or less speculators. They're in for the gain and they will be gone. They have no interest renting the property out. They are simply acting as a speculator. Now here is a good example in Toronto area. Quarter of all the properties in Toronto are owned by speculators. All by speculators. So here is something else happening, by the way, in Toronto. It is something people would like to copy and paste from London, UK. A lot of wealthy Canadians or multi-billionaires in Canada want to build a iceberg house. What exactly is iceberg? Iceberg is they want to have, instead of one basement in the house, they like to have 3 or 4 basements, just like apartment buildings. Parking lot 1, parking lot number 2, and 3. And they're concealed bulk below ground. And now the city is getting, okay, hey, what we should we do? Should we allow these people to build in? And right now, there is a hottest topic in every city, especially in Toronto. And this is something came in the media recently that somebody applied for it. They want to have a 9 meter of the basement, which is more or less 30 feet. 30 feet in the basement means what? 3 levels, 10 feet each. And then because there's a height restriction in the area, you cannot go more than 2-story. And they want to have their parking, they want to have a swimming pool, and they want to have other suites or recreation rooms and so on in the 2nd or 3rd floor. And they also have an elevator to take the car downstairs. If you notice that the picture I'm showing you, this is Iceberg Houses, by the way, if you never heard them before. Here this thing came from. All this thing came from what? Mostly from UK and the 2 areas of London, suburbs called Chelsea and Kensington. This is all the multi-billionaires are there. And this is how they have their houses built up. It doesn't look much of a house. From the outside, it's 3-story, 3.5-story, but they may have a huge under the whole house, a big, huge basement. More or less the basement is covered the whole lot area. And this is where when we have shortage of land, and I believe that many years ago when I used to tell people we're gonna have a laneway house, people laugh at me, say, oh, Naftali, what the heck are you talking about? What is laneway houses? What is the coach houses? Now it's becoming quite common. And don't be surprised that next 10 years, iceberg home is gonna become quite common in Toronto, in Vancouver. These 2 areas, watch the next 10 years, there will be a huge shift that builders are going to go for infill. They're going to go dig the ground 30, 40 feet underneath. They're going to build 3-story downstairs under the ground, maybe 2 stories in the up. It'll be only on the most expensive areas, very expensive areas. It will not be for regular housing. This is for people who want to live in a small lot, but have all the luxury of having the triple lot or 2-acre lot. This is, again, my input. So who wants to buy a dirt cheap property in Toronto? Anybody? Please put in the chat. Would you like to buy a piece of property which is dirt cheap? A dirt cheap property in Toronto for less than 200,000 for a 1-bedroom condo? Hello? 1-bedroom apartment, 1-bedroom condo for less than 200,000. Where is it located? On Jane Street, Jane and Finch. Is it a good area? Maybe is it okay, but it's a good location, close to York and Highway 400. What's the catch? is a co-op. It's very difficult to get financing, but places are good. It comes with 1 bedroom, 1 washroom, underground parking, a locker, a story locker. That's the catch is co-op means everybody is a co-owner. So it's more or less like a fractional owner thing. It's not as bad as people think. As a matter of fact, drugs are everywhere. Drugs are not in poor neighborhood, by the way. Drugs are for rich people, by the way. And drugs are everywhere. Drugs, alcohol, and other social things which are not acceptable. But here's the deal. This piece of property was sold for $25,000 in 2008. Now it has multiplied 8 times in 12 years. Is that a good deal? What can you buy for $200,000 in Toronto? You'll be surprised. A lot of investors are looking into it very carefully. It's going to give you huge positive cash flow if you can get a mortgage on it. And I know there are people here who will be happy to lend you the money. Even the money will be expensive, still it'll make sense. So this piece of property is on MLS for sale. Just thought I should share with you. As a matter of fact, there is a new trend happening, which I'll share with you in December meeting, that you can buy a house in Toronto for less than $30,000. Does anybody like to comment on the chat? Yes, you will be able to buy a house in Toronto for less than $40,000. Anybody like to comment on it? How? Wow, okay. Yes, you will. I'll share with you. I want to keep a little bit of stuff in my sleeve. This will be on December 11th meeting. Again, this is a different ball game, and things are definitely changing. People are becoming creative as we go along though. Here is something catch my eye, by the way. I just got to share with you. I got to share. This is one of the best ad I ever seen. We have been renting property for a long time, but this is the heading. Crack a cold beer, do a lot of dishes, pop in a roast, all without leaving your bed. Can anybody can see this picture in the bed though? Where is the bed and where's the kitchen? And this is a small studio, about 500 square feet. They are advertising for rent. And the Facebook, by the way. And I like the way somebody have described the description. And the funny part of this one is this ad is getting so much attention. I mean, majority of people who are, most of us are landlords, I would say, and we advertise it over ad is pretty boring. But I feel the headline did the magic on this particular ad. Anybody have any comments on this thing though? This is to approach exactly those people who like to have a cold beer, get the dishes done, and pop and roast without leaving your bed and working in the bed because you work from home. This piece of property located in 210 Victoria Street, Toronto. A very interesting way of describing it, and you got a lot of attention. So becoming creative gets you somewhere, by the way. I just thought, hey, I should share with you, and why not? Something a little different. Power sale, that is happening quite a bit around us, by the way. We start getting calls. People say, I'm 1 month behind, 2 months behind, 3 months behind. I'm facing a power sale. I'm going to request a very good friend of mine who happened to be on the line today, Terry. Maybe we will do a combined presentation on power sale, how we can help those people who got them in trouble. Some of them have a lot of equity. Some of them have very low equity, but something need to get done. They need help. They need to downsize and see how we can help those people and perhaps make some money on the side. Same thing with foreclosures all across Canada, 10 different provinces, 10 different laws. Guess what? Since we have been around for a very long time, more or less for the last 40 years plus, so we get calls from all 10 different provinces. And don't be surprised that we do next 3 to 6 months, we do a lot of pre-foreclosure deals in every province. And a lot of these pre-foreclosure deals means about $100,000 profit minimum on the price. And if we wholesale it, we could still make about $50,000 or $50,000 without doing too much of work. How many of you will be happy to make $40,000 but 2 hours of work without putting any capital?
Every day of the week.
All right, sir. I knew you're gonna be responding.
Twice on Sunday.
Twice on Sunday, exactly. Well, I got two. I got two on Saturday. I gotta go. Nav. that's a
Okay,
pleasure,
listen, I
and
need to
we should
speak to
definitely
you.
do the foreclosure and the power sale lecture one day. But I have to sign off now. Bye for now.
Okay, no problem. Listen, we need to do lunch soon, though. Are you there?
I am.
Okay, so when are we
Bye-bye.
doing lunch?
Absolutely. Bye for now.
Bye, sir. Take care. So this is a gentleman who is a very good friend of mine from a very long time. He himself is a lender and a lawyer, and he does mortgage enforcements. So we'll be talking more about that, and he has put some stuff in the chat. And I'm gonna ask somebody to help me how to save the chat so that we know exactly what he said. So next thing is, who's looking for a full-time or part-time job with us? We are always looking for lead managers, acquisition or managers. They only get paid on performance. They bring the deal to us and they get about $5,000 from us. So we always looking for people, even though we have tremendous amount of our own deals, but we do not mind that we have other people work for us. They may or may not bring that many deals, but again, that can be opening for them before they attend the apprenticeship or before they join us and before they realize it, that investing, even starting from the scratch, could be very helpful for you. We pay up to $5,000 upon successful closing. This is more or less what this job description is all about, though. So all their job is simply to locate distressed property owners. We do not really need distressed properties. Distressed property means they are fixer-upper or they are rundown properties. Given a choice to us, we prefer to buy a property from a distressed owner who has some financial situation. The property does not need any repair. And this is our preference number one, where we do not need to do any work. So if you're looking for a job, you want to apply for it, just text us the number and somebody from our team will get back to you and let you know if you are qualified or you should be able to work with us. Possibly yes. If you have the drive and you have a lot of fire in your belly and you are a go-getter, then this could be a great opportunity for you. This is a rare opportunity. This is a assignment deal in Calgary, by the way. This is a Minto building, brand new building. One of our investors bought this piece of property, and due to her personal circumstances, she's not able to close this deal. It's a great deal. You will get, listen to this carefully, please. You will not make any mortgage payment for 2 years. You can live in the building or you can rent it out. Rent can be guaranteed. And flexible closing in the next 30 to 50 days, I believe. If you have a question, unit number is 210, address of the property is 9 East Street Northwest, by the way, downtown Calgary. Excellent location. The builder's Minto is one of the I would say one of the best builder in Canada. If you have a question, please text me at this number. We'll be happy to get back to you. And this is, in my opinion, a reason we have sold many units with Minto. We are not realtors, by the way. We were assisting them to put this deal together. And this is, in my opinion, one of the best deal because you do not have to make any mortgage payment for 2 years. Here is something most of you love to buy. How many of you will be happy to buy a building worth $3.5 million for about $600,000? Please put in the chat. Would anybody be interested in it? Would anybody be interested in one of the hottest area in Toronto to buy a piece of property, really hot? And what is it involved? It is located at 275 Forest Hill Road, sorry. And again, this is something else you need to understand, that how do you acquire it? What are the requirements are? If you do not know what you're doing, you're going to get burned. If you have proper training, you understand the process of it, this can be a very profitable, really profitable opportunity for you, where you will be able to multiply your money 6 to 7 times. You spend 600,000, you got 3.6, $3 million more or less gross profit. Not a bad day. Again, we'll be sharing with you as we go along though. We have apprenticeship training coming up in January. I know there's a lot of push and pull, do it early, do it earlier. Sorry, we won't be able to do it, and it will be done end of January. Those who have wanted to get involved, please send a text message that you want to be an apprentice, and we will send you all the details. So here is something else where we have mentioned before, and every time I come here, people say, please say these magical words. What are the 2 magical words which can jack up the prices by a couple $1 million? Magical words. It works everywhere. The word is land assembly. The word is rezoning. You advertise anything, developers alert, rezoning potential, new development opportunity, great investor developers, guess what? Whatever you bought the property for, add a couple more millions, guess what? The property gets sold. Now, this magical formula works extremely well as we speak in 2 big cities, Toronto and Vancouver. And there are people, that's all they do. They are investors, they buy redundant properties, and they put a sign on next day, buying property for $1.5 million. Next day it's up for sale for $3 million. The sign said land assembly or rezoning. And I will be offering, showing you a couple of opportunities to come along. Just be aware of it. These are very, very powerful words, by the way. We're going to be going through a break room where you can talk to another investor or talk to each other and share what you have. Those who want to invest their capital, TFSA, RSP money, your own money in a joint ventures, there will be directors of acquisition in each room. They'll be more than happy to speak to you. You can speak to one of them, exchange your phone number, and you can discuss your own privacy. What would you like to have, and where can you invest money? Yes, we do offer coaching on a very selective basis. It's not for everybody. It's for very selective people. We have a lot of restriction on it. In case you are interested in getting a real estate investment coaching, our coaching program is done differently. Our coaching is strictly based in the trenches. You start working on the real deal. No chit chat, no sort of motivational stuff. Work on the real deal. That's how it works. If you want to work on the real estate, want to get a good coach, make sure you start working on the deal where the coach provides all the leads to you. Very important for you. If the coach have never done it, he's going to read a script. That's a waste of money and waste of energy and waste of your time. 99% of coaching in real estate business are done by somebody who have never bought a property. And they will never do a deal with you. So be aware of it. Ask any coach, hey, show me your record. What deal you have done? Show me. What you're going to do it for me. Is that fair? Because this is the name of the game if you are in the business of real estate. I'm going to skip a couple of these things for a reason. This is going to move a little bit forward. If your coach says something like this, my real estate coach said, let's do it together. not you go do it. This is where you found yourself the right person, though. Extremely important for you. Those who are interested in getting a coaching, you are welcome to book a real appointment, and we will see if you qualify. And it's done respectfully, by the way. It's not for anybody and everybody, by the way. Joint ventures. What does that mean? Invest your money, TFSA, or any money you have, you want to invest, or you want to have, you don't want to be active, you don't want to collect the rents, you don't want to go through renovations. You're looking for a short-term, mid-term, long-term, 5 years, 3 years, 5 months. If you have capital available, you want to be part of the JV agreement, you will be able to speak to a bunch of these people during the break. You have asked any question, you're welcome to ask, by the way. As we mentioned, we are the cash buyers. Some stuff you should know. And we had quite a bit of things, but I'd like to share at least 1 or 2 things with you. There's a federal grant available for you for up to $5,600 if you happen to be a homeowner to upgrade your energy, by the way. If you happen to be in Toronto and Edmonton, they have different programs available for you, by the way. And the program is called the programs are called PACE, PACE, stand for Property Assessed Clean Energy. This grant is going to be available, I believe, for another year or so. This is to make sure that you do not lose any energy from windows to furnaces and so on. Make sure that you have a energy audit done first. I believe they pay $600 for it. Be aware of it. This is absolutely, it's a forgivable grant, by the way, up to $5,600. What else you need to know? The luxury tax is coming in as of January 1st, 2022. Those who are thinking to buy a nice, expensive car, you giving heads up, at least you have the next 50 days to get it. Otherwise, you'll be paying 10% or 20% taxes, which is called luxury tax in Canada. So this is in case you're thinking to buy a nice boat or yacht or automobile or your private jet. This is for you. Just thought I should let you know. All right. Blue Monday is always the best day to buy any property. Monday is the best day to acquire properties, no matter what it is. You should look definitely into Mondays. Moving forward, wholesale, there's a training coming up on November 30th, which is Tuesday. Those who have never attended it, you should buy the ticket, get to know exactly how you can buy properties on a deep discount prices and how you can keep them in long-term or short-term basis. Let's move forward with this thing. Check before you invest. Before you invest anywhere, in case you're in doubt, check before you invest.ca. This is the website run by Ontario Security Commission. There are some not good people out there, and then you will get to know who they are before you invest any of your capital, especially if you are doing to do with participation where you're not buying the property directly or you're buying this property indirectly, though. We're gonna do is, as we speak, we're gonna be explain to you the next meeting will be on December 11th. And what we're gonna do is for next 15 to 20 minutes, we are gonna take you to the break rooms where everybody gonna have opportunity to speak to each other. There will be three break rooms all together. And nobody's allowed to dominate except the directors. And there's no direct selling, by the way. You cannot talk about your project unless otherwise you get a pre-approval from us ahead of time. If you do, then you'll be disconnected from this place, by the way. This is to discuss among what you have and get to know each other, though. So very shortly, you will be going into a separate rooms where you're able to chit chat among each other. As I said, this will be 3 different rooms, by the way. Anybody have any questions? We will be coming to these rooms from time to time and check with you. So for the time being, everybody is going to experience about 60 seconds of no time. It means you have been transferred from one room to second room though.